Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI F1 World Championship. We're today for round 11, the Japanese Grand Prix. Looking all dry today, so it is going to be pure pace, pure classic circuit. An absolute favourite for a driver, of course, and it always has created some phenomenal racing. We are a few minutes into qualifying already. Korsman tops the times, winning the Grand Prix last season here in Japan. He has invalidated his current lap though, that's why we're not on board. He is quite a way in front of Zingy, who's just set their first lap of the session to P2. 7 minutes on the clock. We've got a long way to go. That is Nifojan, unfortunately, invalidating their lap. This man has been very strong here in the past. Of course, in his first season of LSI, competing with Zingy for the win. And that ended the, well, that was the kind of final race of the streak. First 6 races had 6 different winners. Zingy winning that Japanese Grand Prix. And then he went on to win the 7th and 8th race, I think, as well after that one, and ended that streak. And then Nifojan fighting for the win in the Japanese Grand Prix the season after that. Unfortunately, losing out. Then End Andrews actually got that victory. Zingy didn't get that one. But yeah, it's an interesting circuit. Zingy, at least a 2-time winner here, maybe 3. Can't quite remember. But yeah. It's got a lot of history. It is a very good circuit. Devon Young, P4. An EU driver, of course, but who is not an EU driver and now has a permanent seat at McLaren is Nabil. Welcome to the grid. Of course, racing as a reserve a few times around. Just took a bit of time to get him into the seat. Now he's here. We do have Miguel, who might be able to plonk himself into an Aston Martin, but still waiting for confirmation on that one. Tom Brainer to P7 just a few moments ago. Is Devon Young actually on the lap right now? I don't think they are. They've just got maybe a bit of a bug that it says 0 laps on their tyres. So that bug returns. That is great to see. Always nice to have some issues in the game. Wouldn't give it as much character as it has if we didn't. Alrighty, sorry, just checking in on what's going on there. Nabil's going to start their lap. They've got a lovely little Ferrari helmet on. I don't know what that says. Is it touching grass? I would be surprised if it did say that. Anyway, Nabil, first corner, riding the inside curb, trying to get that kind of smooth apex, if you like, through the S's. Hard on the inside curb, bit of lag, so we couldn't really see how they were controlling the car as they went up the hill. And light braking as you bring the car right round, almost a bit of an over rotation. Then they got that tank slapper to finish off at turn 7. Now you go into 8 and 9. Hard on the deck now, didn't quite use all of the entry, but it was still pretty tidy. On the exit, just a moment to correct the steering into the hairpin. There you go. Heavy braking. Braking a lot longer than you usually would into a hairpin, just to get that car slowed down in time, using the banking to help you out as well. And now a moment to relax before you get to spoon curve, double left-hander. Nice and fast pace on the exit curb, trying to focus on the second corner though, that exit up the long straight. It is going to gain you so much time. If you get it right, if you get it wrong, you are going to be screwed for the rest of your lap. Nice 130R, very tidy, pretty easy to do. Eager Pro disqualified for parking in a dangerous location off the circuit. Don't know if that was intentional or not intentional. Anyway, it happened. Hold it tight to the right-hand side. That is Nabil P6, 27.4, and ahead of Tom Brainer, ahead of Ogyo, who crashed out at the top of the hill in the S section early on in the session earlier. We didn't get to see that one, but yeah, a shame. Hopefully that's their last crash of the weekend here at Japan, though. I'm not entirely sure if we'll get to find out what happened to Igor until maybe after the race. So if you want to find out, then run the Discord. Maybe we'll get to see it. But yeah, anyway, Igor out of qualifying, disqualified. It looks like he had parked the car. So I think it was an intentional disqualification. He's just tried to make sure he starts at the back of the grid for whatever reason. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll see. Yeah, an interesting one that we have got no rain around this circuit. It's a mixed circuit for weather conditions. It can either be very, very bad or very, very good. I say that most of the time we've had dry races around Suzuka. I think we may have had a few wet qualifying sessions, but it is dry again here today at the Asia circuit. Now Heischler looking for a good result here. It's a circuit that isn't exactly easy to control the players, so can he beat Zingy? Can he look for a P2? Try and get a podium on the board this season. That would be great to see if he could get the job done. Being very consistent, but P6s and P7s quite a lot. P5 a couple of races ago. I don't know if that was the last race he competed in or not. I can't quite remember. He competed in Saudi Arabia. Got pole position in that one. Is that the one that he got fastest lap in a P7 maybe? Anyway, we are on the outlap. We've not only got a few minutes left in quali, and he is currently set to be the next one to set a lap. He does have an AlphaTauri right behind him. That's Nifojan, who maybe wants to try and set one before him, or are they just going to wait behind? You've got the other AlphaTauri, Zingy and Thijs Korsman. They are sitting a little further back, trying to jostle for position as well. We've got both Ogya, of course, DNFing. Nabil only just leaving the pit lane, so he's probably missed out on that final run, but I guess he can dream if he wants to. Heischler will be the next one. That is going to be Nifojan letting Zingy start his lap first, and he's just going to wait so he can warm up those tyres a bit more. Heischler will now start qualifying for the Japanese Grand Prix. His final run is here. DRS available down to turn 1. Hold it to the left hand side to open up the corner, and you're going to look to try and get to that inside curb, but as soon as you get off it, put the brakes on, up the hill now, smooth on the power, using the downforce, using the high-speed grip to allow you to get that throttle down through the S section, slight lift, maybe a bit of brake if you really need it, and then a bit of brake into turn 6 and up to 7. Try and keep it flat as best as you can if you dare. Nice and committed through there. Be careful that you don't hit in the wall though on exit on the curb. Degnum, 1 and 2 down the hill, don't lock up. And he does that perfectly on the exit, very smooth indeed into the hairpin. Now once again, as I said earlier, braking for a long time into this corner to make sure you get it rotated slightly off of the apex. Not exactly what you want, but a smooth exit, so it's nice and tidy regardless. A 26.3, he is very close to Korsman. If Korsman messes up their final run, Heischler could be able to get this. He does go off massively, and he has a big moment as well. I think that might be it for his lap. We'll go across the sector line, and we'll see. Then we're going to have to go and switch to Zingy to see what he can do for the final time. It's not going to be an improvement on 6/10, and that's going to be Zingy off as well. He lets Nifojan go. He lets Korsman go through. Nifo up by almost 4/10 here. What can he do? Can he get to the 26s and boost his way in ahead of Devon Young? It would be awesome. Can he find time in the final sector as well? Let's see what he can do. Nifojan across the line and a P4. Brilliant stuff right there. Korsman, is it going to be an improvement? It will. Awesome job. Almost a 10th on it, and Zingy not able to keep the lap within track limits, or just making a mistake. He backed off. That is going to be that. Devon Young and JJ next to set laps. JJ will be the next one on the circuit, but he's invalidated, so we go back to Devon Young for the final time. What can he do? He's still pushing for this lap. Out the final corner we go. DRS available. The Red Bull driver is going to sit himself in P3 ahead of Zingy. That is a double Dutch front row. Thijs Korsman on pole position for the Japanese Grand Prix. Really likes this circuit. Heischler in P2. That is a brilliant place to start the race. That being said, it's not that easy to get a toe immediately, so you have to really push in that first and second sector really, then you can get a big toe on that back straight, maybe jump yourself in the front of the lead, or in the front of the pack I should say, before DRS kicks in. It'll be a very interesting race, that's for sure. Devon Young putting himself in front of both AlphaTauris, and they're not going to be too happy with that. They're going to have a few things to think about if they want to get some good points here. Kussmann takes pole position, Heischler in P2, and we've got Devon Young, Zingy, Nifojan, Tom Brainer, Nabil, Oggio, JJ, and Igor disqualifying themselves from the session. The race director is on your screen now, and we'll be back for the race. We'll see you in a bit. Go! Who's going to get it into turn one? We are away. And it doesn't look like the stream's doing too well, but we continue. Tires Kussmann the outside line. Heischler looking for the lead into turn one. Turn two. He's got it done. That's a yellow. I don't know who's off. It looks like Tom Brainer's down the order. There's contact between the two at the front, though. And Heischler wrestles his way into first place. Devon Young just watching behind. A brilliant start from him to hold on right there and trying to take maybe a bit of pickings off immediately after. Didn't quite work out. That is another yellow. That is Oggio. No, Devon Young having issues at the hill. I just completely missed that. Oggio and Tom Brainer struggling right there. That immediately promotes the Alpha Tauris. They get P3 and 4 already. Heischler now. What can he do? What tyre is he on actually? He's on the hard, and so is Kussmann. So they're both on the same strategy. Just a really good start there from the Ferrari driver, making it work immediately. We will go quickly on to the strategy to just double check on what's going on. That is a big off from the Ferrari, and Kussmann is not going to be wanting to wait behind that red car if he's going to make mistakes like that. Maybe Zingy will try and spot an opportunity. Will they be pushing on energy up ahead? They will be pushing on energy. They go side by side through 130R. Zingy is catching up, trying to spot an opportunity, not quite able to get anything done just yet on the exit. If he can find the traction, he might be able to get a double run here, get himself into the lead of the Grand Prix. Kussmann, regardless, is going to go for P1 again to try and take it back immediately. Heischler leads on lap 1, but lap 2, Kussmann fights it. Will he go wide, Heischler? No, he keeps it within track limits, and that is well defended. Awesome job from him. The AlphaTauri for the home team, or home engine, trying to find a way through, but he can't quite get there. You can see that Kussmann is looking at different lines to get better exits as they leave the S section for an attack on the Ferrari, but they can't quite find a way. It's all pretty good stuff. We've got Nabil looming behind. This is what I wanted to check on earlier before we had that incident, but Nabil on that medium tyre, he's going to be pretty quick. Will it be quick enough, though, to get through the pack of quite a few cars? He's very close to the back of Nifojan, hoping for DRS, but in a train, it's not really going to help. You've got to really be careful around this circuit. You don't want to lose DRS. It will be quite beneficial. Obviously, there's only a little bit of it, though. So, being close to the cars in front is crucial to get that useful tow, and that is what Nabil's going to have to think about doing. He needs to make sure that he's critical of these overtakes. Critical of an overtake is going to be Korsman, as that's defensive going. Heischler invites Zingy, into the battle. He's looking for P2. Korsman is going to be forced into P3, barged out the way. What a shame. He's going to try and come back though. Zingy's trying to force his way through, but he can't if there's a car in the way. He's boxed in, and Korsman will rightfully hold on to that P2. I think that is very fair enough. Zingy's being a little bit greedy there, a bit naughty. He almost lost his front wing, and Nifojan just had to pray that nothing bad happened and he was collected. Still, Nabil not able to find a way just yet through. Eagle Pro trying to catch back up that short 3/10 that he's lost. Devon Young trying to get close to the back of JJ, but making a mistake there on the curb, almost ending his race. Oggio and Tom Brainer also just playing catch up at the moment, having that issue, but their race is tomorrow, so they need to just focus on that one. Heischler, his race is today, maintaining that P1. Lovely stuff on at the moment for him. Korsman still trying to get into that lead, didn't get there before, as Zingy saw that he wasn't wanting to go for it on the back stretch. Which meant that Zingy was going to try and go for an opportunity. He might try and have another look again if he's not careful, Horseman. Horseman's not closing in on Heischler this time. Zingy is right there. It's just, will he be aggressive enough to go for it? I don't think he will. He is going to sit behind this time. But Heischler isn't going to feel a need to defend. They're going to be getting DRS, is the Dutchman. So he might have a bit of an easier chance of going for it here. He is using the energy, so he is going to try and make it work. Will we see Zingy try and follow through as well? I don't think he's going to get an opportunity. He's too far back, so splendid stuff from the fellow countryman. Oh, a big mistake there from Heischler, though. On the exit, Zingy had an opportunity, had a quick look, but nothing to come from it in the end. Bojan just waiting patiently behind these guys. They are battling hard. Horseman has been let go. Nifo makes a mistake on the curb, loses the car to Nabil, and he's going to also invite Eagle Pro through. It might be that they can still maintain that DRS, so they might actually be in a much better place than they could have imagined. It's just whether Nabil can catch up and maintain DRS range, or whether Igor can maintain range on Nabil. So it's going to be an interesting situation they've got on their hands within the next few laps to try and keep themselves in the race. Igor's got to push here if he wants to get himself in the race as well. Korsman, 7/10, trying his best to extend it, but by the time you get to this straight, he's going to have a bit of a toe, is Heischler. He's going to catch back up, get that DRS. Zingy knows what he's doing. Heischler having to push a little bit here now. He's unleashed the Mercedes. He wants to make sure that he has that DRS to defend, but if he uses too much energy to maintain that gap, then he's going to end up losing the position himself. Zingy's going to see that, but he's not going to be going for a move just yet. The double DRS is too powerful. Moving on the straight just to try and communicate with the cars in front to say that they're going to work together. Nabil a little further behind, but he got that DRS and he's got another lap to now try and catch up to these guys. He's going to have the S section, which will be a strong point. Nifojan gets in front of Igor. 8/10 though to catch up to the pack ahead. I think he can get it done. I do think he can get it done. Igor just not quite able to maintain that pace with the front runners. JJ right behind. Devon Young caught up nicely, even after their big off earlier on. And then Tom Brainer still 7 seconds behind Oggio. Put on a fresh set of tyres recently, looking for maybe either some tyre data or an undercut. Whether he's going to try and go for a double medium, I'm not entirely sure. We'll see. Horseman, 8/10. Heischler, he's got a lot to think about. Zingy also in the same situation. He's looking to possibly push on this lap. Doesn't want Heischler to lose out too much. Doesn't want Korsman to escape any more than he already is. That is Heischler catching up a massive amount on that back straight. So either using low downforce or using a lot of energy on that back straight. And Zingy is not able to hold on. That is very well thought out from Heischler there, using that back straight to then defend on DRS. So Zingy doesn't get any ideas. Zingy uses the energy on the exit of the final corner, but nothing more, just lets it be as it is. That is Nifojan, got a lot of pressure. Eagle's going to go for the move into the first corner. Oh, JJ's going to go for the double. He has the inside line. Can he get the job done? He backs out. Eagle then takes it back, and that's going to be Nifo holding P6 just about. And what a shame for Nifo. He was trying to catch back up to the cars in front. They got a bit of a battle on their hands. Luckily, it is a bit more of a slipstream train than a side-by-side battle through the S section. They just got to make sure that they're smart about this though. 2.7 seconds, it's not going to get any smaller. If they race like this, they've got to work together here. So Eagle's going to have to lead for the rest of this lap, and then they'll switch and try and work together to boost themselves up the field if they can. They can see the McLaren in front on that medium tyre. That is Nabil just about losing out on DRS range, so this could be it for him, and it could be the top three breaking away on lap 6 out of 27. Alrighty, he's closer than he's ever been before. So is Heischler, to be honest. They might force Heischler to go for an attacking move on Korsman. Strategy is going to be key around here though. So these guys need to think about strategy in the long game rather than the short game on making overtakes. Losing a bit of time on exit of the final corner. There's Heischler there, so he doesn't catch up massively to Korsman. Makes a big mistake though, understeers the car as he was trying to kind of defend from Zingy, and then just didn't get the line right into turn 1. He's going to end up losing both of these guys a bit of time. Gives Korsman a little bit of breathing room, because that would have been 3/10, and they continue to lose more time up the S section as you have to chain these corners. So struggling a little bit there. Tom Brainerd first into time penalties. That gap is now to 6/10 for Korsman, but Heischler's trying to push back and catch up a bit more, and that is a big mistake there for Korsman. He keeps it out of the wall just about, and it brings everyone back into play for a little bit. But since Nabil's lost that DRS range and that slipstream, he's just not able to find the pace again. 2.2 seconds now back. Devon Young has got in front of Nifojan in the meantime, so those guys are fighting. Tom Brainerd retires on the exit of the second Degner. That's the first safety car deployed of the evening. And Korsman has got a big decision to make. Will he go for the pit stop? Will he go for that double medium? Or is he going to try something a little bit different? Is he going to try and stay out to continue on this hard tyre, the safer strategy? I think it is going to be a double medium here. It has to be, surely. With 10 laps, 20 laps, you could maybe go for one set of mediums, but I'm not entirely sure. He's just going to try and go for that double medium maybe, or even a medium soft might be an idea. If it's a medium soft, it could be very, very interesting on who goes for what when, or if they'll try and go for the soft immediately. We see Zingy do, they're going to have to double stack the AlphaTauri drivers. They continue as they are. Nifojan, I'm excited to see what will they do. Will they try and go for a different kind of thing? I don't know. Are we going to get a pretty standard strategy from everyone? Nabil, of course, gets that hard tyre. Nabil is in the chance to win this Grand Prix, you know. He is in the chance to win this Grand Prix. I will say that happily. Hard tyre all the way to the end wouldn't be easy, but would be possible. Now, the disadvantage of this circuit and being on a different tyre is that you've got that first sector which really helps a softer tyre gain, and if you're on really old tyres, like we saw a few seasons ago with Andrews, that fast tyre can catch up significantly. And ironically, Andrews was in the McLaren as well. He did manage to just about win that Grand Prix on those old tyres, Zingy coming second in the end. But we'll see how it goes. These guys are, I assume, going to be going for a double medium. The softs might be possible, but they might overheat, so it's really up to preference. And depending on what you've kind of set the car up for, that really does make a difference. But we'll see. Nabil, I assume, is not going to be intending on pitting anytime soon, and he's going to be hoping that there's not another safety car in this race, because if he can continue for the rest of the Grand Prix, he might get a 20-second gap advantage. What he has to do, though, is he has to work with the cars behind him, just not lose any time, minimise time loss, and hope that the cars that he do let go just don't fight. I know that English was completely all over the place. He's got to hope that the cars that he does let go don't fight, so he can lose minimal time to the cars in front that he will probably lose being on that harder compound, and then be able to come back later on with that gap. It's a big risk, but it can work quite nicely, and it's paid off to be on the alternate strategy this evening, it seems. Still a long way to go in this Grand Prix. We could get another safety car for sure. Oggio catches up to the back of the field. Would he go for a set of fresh medium tyres to maybe try and bring those mediums to the end of the Grand Prix? I don't think so. I think he'd probably just stay out. He does stay out. JJ is going to go for some sort of strategy call here, though. Goes onto that hard tyre, so he's going to try and go to the end of the Grand Prix as well. He's seen the vision. The question is he cooking or is he not cooking? We don't quite know. Tyres Courseman leads the way on that medium tyre, looking to try and get a second Japanese Grand Prix victory in a row if he can. Heischler looking to try and get the first podium, if not first P2 or higher of the season. I can't quite remember if they got a podium this season or not. If they have, they haven't recently. Getting that pole, of course, in Saudi Arabia, though, a brilliant circuit for them. Just not quite working out on the opening lap of the Grand Prix. Zingy in P3. Not won a race for 3 Grand Prix now. He won the sprint race in Silverstone. But other than that, he hasn't won since before the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, which was a Grand Prix that I can't remember. I don't believe that I've managed to do that. I've managed to forget. But anyway, having a hell of a race last time around in Belgium, just about missing out on P1, getting that P2. It was a very, very good battle with a lot of mixed weather conditions, making everything pretty interesting. And Nabil, he hasn't won a Grand Prix just yet. Eager Pro winning his first Grand Prix in, what, 4 years? Back in Mexico this season. So it's been a while since he won an F1 race, but he's got it done. I say F1, F1.5, I think he might have done it as a reserve driver, I'm not entirely sure. But we should be getting the green flag when we go over the sector line, and we will be going racing on lap 10 out of 27. Horseman leads the way, Heischler in P2, Zingy P3. Heischler's the one to react, the safety car's not into the pit lane yet. It's quite a short pit lane entry, downhill with bumps, so you've got to be careful. Safety car shouldn't need to worry about that. The safety car's in now, so he can go at any point, and he goes for it on the exit right there. Lovely, lovely, jubbly indeed. Heischler reacting okay, but in relative to Zingy reacting to Heischler, he's done a phenomenal job using the energy, though, to prevent that Ferrari from having a go. It will not happen. That is going to be Igor just about holding on to Devon Young. Their front wing was getting so close to that rear tyre there. They keep it away from each other, though, and Igor will hold on for the moment. Devon Young looking to try and maybe get a good exit. Of course, Nifojan, he was in that fight earlier, but he had no chance of getting in front because he had to double stack with his teammates, so he lost a little bit of time. Not a massive amount, but a little bit. We continue. Devon Young still wants to try and get in front of that Aston Martin, but not quite able to find a way through on the exit, looking strong, using the energy, wanting to go for the inside line. He's not going to get it done, basically pushing the Aston Martin through the corner, and it's going to be Nifojan to the outside line. He's not going to take a second invitation, now to the inside. He'll have track advantage, but he's going to be boxed in. The inside line for Devon Young. He's going to try and break late, and that's going to be Nifojan a bit optimistic there, and Oggio just about backing out. Nifojan maintains the position. Will Oggio try and fight through? Maybe go for it into 130R. He will have a go into 130R. That's going to be the move done, I think. It's not. It's going to be so close. Nifojan's not giving up, but he does eventually yield the position. Igor just up in front, and these guys are so close behind him. Now down the main straight. Heischler not pushing on the energy, not trying to have a go here on floor, or Tyres Courseman, I should say. Zingy dropping back back a little bit. Nabil is doing a phenomenal job, held on nicely on that opening lap, and everyone else behind have just been fighting. Devon Young, in the meantime, eventually gets in front of Egapro in the Aston Martin, and now he's going to try and see if he can hunt Nabil, but with all that battling, they're only giving the McLaren driver a better chance of potentially winning this Grand Prix, and he's only just lost out of DRS range as these guys do light up those medium tyres and make them work in that S section a lot better than they would have on the previous lap, of course, when they opened up. That was, I thought, a bit of a crash, but it wasn't a crash. It was absolutely fine. Nabil P4 has now got Devon Young hunting him down. They've got to be careful. He's just got to let him go through, I think. If he can get a bit of DRS, that is great, but he doesn't want to fight it, at least until maybe 5 laps time, 10 laps time, maybe even that. We'll see. I think lap 20 will be around when he wants to try and start fighting for position. If not, maybe everyone's already pitted by lap 20. We'll see. That is a long way in the distance, though. Nabil just needs to make sure he keeps his cool now in the moment. Don't get any damage, and you can be on for a very good result, my friend. Just be careful. DRS available, and it will be available on the next lap of the Grand Prix, because you won't get it just this lap, as there is only one DRS straight to give it to you. Now, Nabil P4 maintaining his position over Devon Young one more time. Without that DRS, it did definitely help him. Devon Young might be able to get the move done beforehand, though. And he is now showing that his mediums are working a lot better than that old hard tyre. Having a second chance at getting a good result here. That's going to be Nabil making a big mistake, just about keeping it within track limits. Loses the car, almost ends it all. He's going to end up going side by side with Nifojan, who doesn't try and yield. He tried to keep his foot in, but didn't quite get it. Goes off the circuit. Very close stuff right there. Nabil dips a wheel in the grass. He's all over the place, and I think Nifojan's going to get a pretty easy move within the next few corners, if not laps. And very, very close moments then. Nabil just having a little bit of a wiggle, feeling the pressure from Devon Young, which he just shouldn't have needed to feel. Devon now gets an easy move, clear in front. Egapro will still get DRS, so it could be interesting. The top 3 run away as they were before the safety car was deployed. We'll see if they can maybe battle within the next few laps. Oggio sits in P6, promoted ahead of Nabil, of course, and getting in front of Nifojan, and they're fighting in the braking zone. I don't exactly know what happened there, but he goes for a bit of a ghosting moment, drops behind to P last, and he's left the session disconnecting. It seems not ideal from the Dutchman there. I don't know what happened. So the top 3 stay as they are. Devon Young 3.1 seconds behind. DRS did give Igor an advantage. DRS was giving the top 3 an advantage to break away in a bit of a train situation. Devon just can't compete with that. 3.3 seconds is the gap. Alrighty, we continue. Korsman leads the way. Eichler in P2. Hopefully we can get Nifojan back in the lobby. It doesn't look great. All of a sudden disconnecting, of course. But it is what it is. The Mercedes driver holds that P1 position. Eichler not losing any time under the pit stops, which makes it very slightly easier, of course. Not ideal for Korsman. He was probably hoping to try and lose the cars behind in the pit lane. Maybe it would work strategy-wise. Igor diving into the lead of the pack here, getting in front of the 2 Red Bulls. And that is Devon Young having to wait, and they will probably be communicating the 2 Red Bulls today, even though it's not their tier. They are teammates in the F1.5 EU Championship, so they will be communicating as usual. and it's not going to be an easy battle here for Igor. So I reckon when Devon gets through, Ogyo's probably going to end up following as well. So Igor's got a lot to think about. It's not going to be easy when you've got two of the same car right behind. Nifojan rejoins the session, so that's good to see. Hopefully no more issues for them, let alone for the rest of this race. The rest of this season, they've had everything thrown at them. It couldn't have gone too much worse. So they do deserve a good result, getting a brilliant result of a podium in Belgium, of course. That was awesome to see. Not going the easiest so far, but we've still got a long way, just under halfway of this Grand Prix to go. So do not give up now. The top three stay as they are. They continue. I feel like I'm on repeat at the moment. Devon Young getting the move into 130R. Igor's going to try and hold his nose in, but he won't get it. Will he get DRS? Who will get DRS? Nabil and JJ very close to one another. DRS is available to Igor, so it is going to be possible he's going to get back in front. That is awesome. That's going to be JJ around on the exit of the final chicane. What a shame for him. Igor gets back into the lead of that pack. He just about holds on. So Devon Young trying to think of something a bit different to make sure he gets that move done. But anyway, said Igor, and just took the position back immediately, and they continue running in their order. Nabil right there. JJ still holds his front wing. I don't exactly know what happened. They were so close as they were into the chicane, but they were leaving it. I don't think there was contact. I think JJ maybe just lost the car. He's now on his merry way. He's on that hard tyre. It just seems like the hard tyre runners just haven't had the easiest of runs right now. We're going to look at the gap to the leader. And that's 10 seconds that Nabil has got to the lead car. That's only about less than 10 seconds advantage that he would get on pit exit. Maybe he'll gain some time back later on into the race regarding tyres, but I really don't know how easy that'll be. So unfortunately, the result that we were maybe hoping for isn't going to be looking like it's going to be there. Yet again, Devon goes for the move this time. Ogyo does communicate well, and he's going to be able to get through as well, boxing in Igor, just forcing him to have that line. Igor, however, still gets that P2 spot in the train. He's going to immediately go through again. Going defensive is Devon Young. Igor to the outside line. Ogyo to the inside. Can he get the move done this time around? I don't know. It's going to be Igor swooping around. There's contact. Oh, and he's going to tag the Aston. The Aston's round as well. I do not believe what I've just seen. Oh, what a shame. Ogyo making contact. Nabil's going to get promoted. Devon Young is going to be on his own. That's going to be Nifojan making a move. Pretty easy for him. He got the move already on Ogyo, who just tags the back of the Aston, and unfortunately it's game over. What a shame for those guys, both having equal tyres, Igor and Nifo, but Igor has just had a spin, so his tyres are going to be pretty much on fire at the moment. Nifojan hasn't been in a battle either, so he's going to make that move on the inside maybe? No, he's going to back off and try and get a more safe overtake here. That will allow Igor to save the tyres a little bit, but energy-wise it's not looking ideal for the Serbian, and it should be a matter of time for when Nifojan makes that move. He's going to be into P6, hunting down the hard tyre runner of Nabil. It's all going to be about strategy though. Will he try and go for an early pit stop now and maybe go for a severe undercut, or go a little bit later onto the soft tyre, just get the overcut done and have an absolute rapid pace later on in the Grand Prix? I don't quite know. We could see a pit stop very, very soon. Maybe Igor will try and do that himself, as he's got a lot of pressure behind. He's going to stay out. He's going to lose the car, and that is going to be Nifojan through, no problem. And Ogyo might even have a go as well with that mistake from the Aston Martin without DRS. He's not going to get close enough though this time, and he will not be close enough to get slightly alongside and make that contact as they did one lap ago. They continue and hopefully have forgotten about all those issues. Zingy sitting comfortably in P3. I say comfortably, patiently, impatiently now to the inside line. He sends it. The Ferrari held wide, held high on the exit of the corner, but he manages to hold on just about. Zingy is getting a bit restless. He sees that the laps are counting down and he wants to make that move. It was an incredible risk into that hairpin, but it just didn't quite work out. I don't blame him, to be honest, because he's not really got any other options to make those moves. He wants to force Heisler into either making a move on Korsman or just using all his battery to hold on to that position, because right now Korsman is relaxing a lot with that battery. That will probably mean that he can save the tyres a little bit and he'll just be very strong in the race. Without dirty air as well, his tyres don't get hot, they don't wear extra, and he's in a comfortable position. I was just going to say, Zingy waiting patiently, and then he sends it on the inside. Very, very, very ironic timing there for that to be said, but you can see he's not happy with where he is in the train. So P3 is always very difficult. P2 is where you want to be, and then make that move on the final lap of the Grand Prix, of course. Now, we've got less than 10 laps remaining of the Grand Prix, just about. We'll see how that goes. That was another yellow. I don't quite know who that was. That is Eagle Pro, unfortunately, turn 1, losing the car. So it was either a braking on the grass on entry, or I don't quite know. On the curb, maybe, as you head to turn 2. Not an ideal place to be around, but no safety car is deployed. At this stage, it does allow JJ to catch up. And the strategy is going to be very interesting for his situation. Also going to be very interesting to Nabil, of course. We'll see where he finishes relative to Devon Young, I think, is the best measurement, because he's now 50 seconds behind the top 3 here. So that strategy isn't going to be looking as good as it maybe was. On the opening laps of the safety car restart, talking about strategy, will we see anybody going to the pit lane nice and early? Or are we still going to stay out for now? We are going to see a pit lane dweller, and I don't know if Zingy wanted to go into the pit lane or not. He looked like he jolted to the inside, but then he backed off. Korsman and Heisler both into the lane as usual. Zingy jolted slightly, then decided, I'm not going to go for it. Will we see Nifojan react? He won't. He's going to stay out as well. They don't need to really worry, to be honest. He was using a bit of energy on the exit, though, so he might be pushing on this lap to try and go for it. He's trying to get in front here. He's trying to get in front. He's going to get in front of Korsman. This is phenomenal. This is absolutely phenomenal. He's going to be slow regardless. He might try and slow down as well in the S section. This is not only going to be a slow out lap for Korsman and Heisler on cold tyres, but they've also got an AlphaTauri to try and stay, get in front of immediately. He's going to the inside into the deck. Now, that's not going to be easy. That's going to slow both of them down. That's going to be Nifo off the track momentarily, losing the car on exit. Heisler's going to get through. He tried his best to fight with what he had, but he didn't quite have the battery to compete. A very aggressive move, spooking Nifojan off the track, and he gets the job done. I don't think he necessarily did anything wrong, but it was just a very, very aggressive overtake. That's all. He knew what he needed to do, and he's got it done. Now, Zingy, will that have been enough? He did have an S section there to sit behind with Korsman, so he might have lost out to the lead of the Grand Prix. We'll see how it goes. He's also going to get a lap advantage here on the tyres. He might even try and go for a set of softs here. Will he go for the softs? Heisler went for the softs. It was mediums for Korsman. It's gonna be softs for Zingy. What's happened? I don't know. I don't know what's happened. He had to wait. He's lagged. He's lagged. He's lagged. He's lagged. He's lagged. And now Korsman leaves the pit lane. Where's Zingy? He's right there. They're gonna switch as well. Heisler's gonna take the lead of the Grand Prix. They're fighting. He wants to make sure that he gets in front and uses these softs while he can. Not waiting at all. Zingy, he's got a lot to think about here. He's got the very fresh softs. He's not got his teammate to overtake, as the other guys did, of course, have Nifojan to make that move on. So he is not going to be in any trouble regarding DRS. He will be able to catch up nice and easily. Now, tyre wear, that one lap will be very, very useful for him, of course, and I think he's going to be very strong in front of Korsman, of course. Maybe to the end of the Grand Prix, it might be Korsman's advantage. We'll see how it goes. Zingy's just making sure that he catches up in time, though. Korsman just trying his best to reduce the gap loss, of course, to Heichler, and any gap loss reduced for his sake is going to help Zingy, because Zingy is going to inevitably catch up to the Mercedes driver, and it will just bring him into the train. Heichler wants to break away. He doesn't want Korsman in the DRS. He wants to make sure that he leads the Grand Prix by a bit of a mile for when Korsman does slightly catch back up, maybe. It will be very difficult. I don't quite know how this is going to work out, to be honest. Korsman's going to get that DRS. Zingy's super close, but he's not in a position to overtake just yet, so he's going to have to spend a lap behind. He's not got much energy after that outlap, but that doesn't really matter too much. He's got a strong position in his hands. It was a very, very, very good effort here from both AlphaTauris. And Nifojan trying to stay out a little bit longer. Will he try and go to the end here and make sure that he gets in front of JJ? He might be able to get in front of the Bill. That's his aim right now, to just continue to stay out. Devon Young, I don't know if he's trying to stay out as well or not, or maybe just go a little bit later on the softs and look for a fastest lap of the Grand Prix. That's maybe a possibility. JJ is going to retire. That's going to bring the safety car out. I do not believe it. And all of a sudden, Devon Young is going to get a huge advantage. He's not going to lead the Grand Prix, but he's probably going to be quite nicely into P5. Nifojan is going to be quite nicely into P6, but time penalty-wise, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare, and it might be an advantage here to Eiger Pro. Will Korsman go into the pit lane? Zingy doesn't need to. Heichler's going to lose that peak performance. Absolutely tragic situations here for the sake of strategy battles. It's a bit of a shame that we lose out like that, of course, but it is what it is. And our race leader for the last couple of laps goes into the pit lane, almost loses the car on entry, but he will plonk on that soft tyre as expected. And that is going to be Korsman and Heichler into the pit lane. 5 seconds for Heichler as he's a little bit too hot, unfortunately, and he's going to get that time penalty. Korsman and Zingy both putting on those fresh softs. I'm very surprised at that. I thought they'd have tried to maybe maintain track position, but no, they didn't. So Devon Young is going to continue after all of that to lead the Grand Prix. It now prevents Zingy having that advantage over Korsman and Heichler. Now they're all on equal playing field. Of course, Heichler having that time penalty, so that's going to be something very interesting to think about, whether Heichler fights it or not. Sportsman-wise, it would be good to not fight it, of course, because you know, he's going to be in a very difficult position, and if he just minimises time loss, that will only help him. I don't know if he's going to try and fight it, though, regardless. Nifojan P5. He's got Igor right behind, who is on some quite old soft tyres, although I think Igor's going to get another opportunity to pit here. Whether he has a fresh set of softs available or not, I'm not entirely sure, but if he does go into the pit lane on the next lap, he's going to lose 2 positions, but he'll gain an extra lap of tyre life. I'm not entirely sure if he's going to just try and continue on these tyres. He would be able to continue perfectly fine, but they're just going to be a little bit old and a bit slow late on. But if he can make sure that he doesn't lose 3 seconds to Nifojan by the end of this Grand Prix, he is going to be absolutely loving life. And that P6 might look like a bit more of a P5, which would be very solid points for his championship, of course. As you can see on our screen right now, the Drivers' Championship is as it stands. Igor just behind Nifojan in the standings, very close to Gilly, who hasn't raced in a couple of races now, so they're trying to get in front. But they continue, and of course you can see the constructors as well. It's a bit more of a team battle with AlphaTauri dominating the way, as we can see. Anyway, we continue with the race. Devon Young has got a lot to lose regarding this race, but not a lot to lose in this championship. I really want to see what happens here with Igor. Is he going to go into the pit lane? He doesn't. He's going to stay out, so he's going to commit to these tyres. And we will be going racing by lap 24 of 27. Alrighty, we're going to be getting 4 laps of racing, 2 laps of DRS because we have to go an extra lap, so it is going to be an absolute sprint. I don't know what to make of it. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a very, very tough one. Ups and downs, strategy left and right, but in the end, at the very final stages of the Grand Prix, it's a classic. Everyone on more or less equal tyres, and it's pure pace to the end. Maximise their batteries under the safety car, make sure that they burn any extra fuel that they can, keep the car as light as they can, and make it as light as they dare without running out of fuel, of course. Other than that, it's how big are your balls? And I mean balls of steel. We will cross the sector line very shortly. Devon Young will get that confirmation that he is going to be leading the safety car restart. And Heischler will be the one to react. There you go, as you see it. Slow down, make sure that everyone is bunched up. The Ferrari yet again is the one to react to the safety car. He gets a second opportunity here. Everybody's going to be very careful as they bunch up. Safety car is in the pit lane around about now, so he can go at any point from this point onwards. When will he go for it? Not yet. Going a lot later than Korsman, but reacts nicely compared to Heischler. Heischler might use a bit of energy to try and get a late lunge, a late attempt at making that overtake into the first corner. Korsman is going to scratch all of that though as he forces him wide. Korsman to the inside line, has the traction, has the advantage ahead, but he still tries to keep it side by side. The Mercedes has got all the confidence in the world and maintains it. Phenomenal stuff right here. Zingy trying to take a different line to get a better run than the Ferrari, but he's not close enough after all of that, being incredibly unlucky with the safety car timing. But we continue as Devon Young maintains that lead. Those guys fighting for a moment gives him a bit of breathing room. It's still going to be very hard to fight against Korsman though. He's going to be incredibly quick and looking for his second Japanese Grand Prix victory in a row if he can get the job done. The Mercedes driver for today, Heischler, is hungry though regardless, trying to maintain that P2 regardless of the 5 second, which is a risk of course. It would probably be better for him to try and break away. No one has broke away yet though. Everyone is nice and close to one another. It's incredibly tight throughout the field. It's going to be incredibly tight into the chicane as Korsman, does he look left, does he look right? He doesn't look at all. He's going to wait for the DRS or just the main straight really to try and have an advantage in the S section. A phenomenal exit. There's going to be no second invitation again this Grand Prix, and he'll have that position nice and easy. Devon Young is going to let it happen and just try and make sure that he maintains that position if he can, and he could be in a very good position to get a P2 here in the Grand Prix, as that is Heischler with that time penalty. So regardless if he loses out to the Ferrari or not, I think he's going to be in a very strong position, Devon Young. Perfect stuff right here. We saw the McLaren and Oggio very close to one another right there. We've got Eagle now losing out to the cars in front. That does mean Oggio's getting a little bit impatient to try and have a go here. Will he try and get move into the chicane, or hairpin I should call it really? He won't. Nifojan gets a second opportunity to be in the pack for the good points. And now there's only a few laps to go with the Grand Prix, so it's where it really matters. This is a phenomenal opportunity, despite the time penalties, for Nifo-Jan to be able to have a nice advantage. Brilliant stuff for the AlphaTauri guys as a team, of course, but just for a Drivers' Championship, it's not exactly what Zingy wants here. Horseman leads the way. Devon Young, strong in P2, not losing out much at all. He's just going to maintain that position. He is going to have a quick look to the inside, but doesn't want to go for that move, just maintains where he is. That is Heischler feeling the heat from the Scotsman. The hottest Scotsman alive, should I say. DRS not available. It's one lap of DRS. ERS is being used. That's going to be Devon Young looking to the inside line, but he doesn't go for it. That's going to be Heischler off, and Zingy goes through. So does Nifo-Jan. 5th place for Heischler in the end. It's looking like, what a shame there. I do not believe what I've just seen. Zingy gets gifted the podium and a perfect opportunity to fight Devon Young for P2. Maybe, dare I say, get to Korsman into P1 on the final laps of the Grand Prix. It's going to be very tight, that's for sure. How hard is he willing to push for the championship? Pursuing his championship rival, not competing today, regardless of where he finishes. As long as it's in the points, it's a nice advantage that he will have. Nifo-Jan P4. He is in a strong position. He just needs to make sure that he maintains the position and doesn't drop any further, and hopes that Igapro is too far back, and it looks like he probably will be. So that looks like it could be a strong P4 for the Dutchman right there. That is awesome stuff. Korsman leads the way. 5 tenths behind is Devon Young, who was incredibly close a last lap ago, and he almost had a look at going for the move. This time around, doesn't have such an easy time on the energy. He will get DRS as we go for the final time on the start-finish straight. It will be a great opportunity just to defend from Zingy, but losing the traction. The ERS is being used by the AlphaTauri. He's not going to be close enough. The ERS is not powerful enough at all. The top 3 have had an absolute blitz on that final lap though, on the penultimate lap I should say, as they have broke away from Nifo-Jan. 1.8 seconds. Absolutely mental pace from these guys. Zingy can't find a way through. He wants to get involved, but it's not quite working. Devon Young wants that P2. He's got no battery left in that car to be able to fight. Korsman has got control of this Grand Prix as we are on the final lap of it. It's not going to be straightforward at all. He just needs to make sure that he keeps his cool and he'll be absolutely fine. Zingy sent it to the inside line, into the hairpin. It's an aggressive move yet again into the corner, but he gets the job done. Turn 11 is where it's at for the Scotsman. The DRS, it doesn't work, so it's going to be the downforce the way that he wants to go about it. Will he have the straight line speed to have a go maybe? Down the final straight on Korsman. He makes a mistake. He's not got much energy though. Korsman's got energy. He'll be able to defend. I don't think that mistake is going to matter too much with the advantage he has on the ERS. And Korsman is going to look to win. Well, once again in Japan, Zingy, it's not that easy. He's got Devon Young to the inside. They're pushing and shoving. Devon Young, will he get the run to turn 1? I don't know. It's going to be Devon Young by a 10th who gets it. Korsman in P1. And that's going to be Nifo-Jan in a solid P4. Another great result for AlphaTauri as a team regardless, but Zingy is going to be furious. He really wanted that. And immediately leaving the session, you can see that he's frustrated. We're going to get the results on the screen, and this man's won again in Japan. Tyre Scoresman takes the double in 2 seasons. Devon Young in P2, then Zingy in P3. You've got Nifo-Jan, Igor, Oggio, Heischler, Nabil, and JJ with Tom Brainerd DNFing as well. And then you go through the race director just in case, as it is a tricky circuit, of course. And then we go through the pit stop section for the final time. And we'll be back for the post-race interviews. We'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome to the post-race interviews of the Japanese Grand Prix. That was a pretty mad one. Tom, we start with you. Not the way you wanted it to go. A difficult start and then a DNF, of course. I guess you're just looking to try and get tomorrow's race underway.
Yeah, the start was just really unlucky. It was just a bit close with Nivo on the outside, and it was just a race incident at the start. Can happen to everybody. Yeah, pretty annoying because I just made a few setup changes like 5 minutes before the lobby opened. And I wanted to test them in a racing situation and not just driving behind all others. And then with my crash, I just got disturbed lap prior into Dagna 1 and lost my complete focus and didn't manage to get it right into the focus again.
Mm-hmm.
And so just completely misunderstood the new setup and did a small mistake on the exit of Dagna 2 and just slammed into the wall.
Do you think you know what went wrong and you can combat that for tomorrow? Do you think you can get a good result tomorrow?
Yeah, I think I know the setup a bit, even though I just did a few laps. But I won't expect anything tomorrow, cause I've got literally no time to practice the new setup.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be nearly blind going in with it.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, I hope it goes well for you tomorrow. Qatar, that is an interesting circuit. It's very high speed. Does that cope well with you?
Sorry, which track?
Qatar.
I think I looked out. Qatar. Yeah, it's a really nice circuit. I've had pretty confident in the last season, and would say that I'm stronger in Qatar than in Japan. But it really depends.
Oh, you've lagged
The
out
other
there.
drivers.
Sorry, it lagged out there. What did you say about the other drivers?
How do you know how it will go cause of penalties and how the other drivers improved?
Fair enough, fair enough. Thank you very much, Tom, and we'll see you next time. Hope it goes well then. And we move on to Devon Young. Devon, that was not a bad quali, and then a not a bad finish to the race. A pretty tough start to it, though. We didn't quite get to see it because I decided to look away for a split second. So can you take us through your race?
Yeah, like you said, quite a good quali. Didn't really expect to be that far up, to be honest. But yeah, just managed to like nick in front of Zingy, which was good. And then the start, I think I got a little bit caught off guard by the dirty air. I hadn't obviously like experienced it yet, and I was right behind Heischler coming into, I'm not sure what corner number it was, but and then just completely lost traction. Back end slipped out, and that was that really. But I got quite a good a recovery to it. Like I didn't lose too much time, so I managed to catch back up to the back of the field relatively quickly. And then can't really remember what happened after that. The pit stops came. There was a safety car, I think, and then right at the end, obviously, I had quite a good strategy call by staying out on the mediums. I was going to try and go to the end. I thought I could. And then, yeah, I got quite lucky with the safety car coming out. So pitted, everyone else pitted with me. So, yeah, that was a surprising to be in P1.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, safety car restart was good. We were all fighting for the front until the last lap, where it was maybe a bit pushy from both drivers. I guess it was just hard racing, I think. But yeah, good to get a P2, I think. I didn't expect that at all.
Fair enough. Do you think you might have had a chance for P1? Or if the safety car didn't come out and give you the lead, where do you think you'd have finished?
If the safety car didn't come out, where do I think I would have finished? I definitely would have been behind the people that pitted. As they pitted, I was thinking, oh, maybe I could win this, but then they were catching so quick, so they definitely would have overtaken me, and maybe a chance at the win after the safety car restart probably was on. I was dealing with a lot of lag throughout the race, and that was losing me random bits of time, and especially at the end of the race, that means a lot because you're just like I'm just losing bits of time, which is not good. So.
Mm-hmm.
It was on, but it didn't happen, and I think TS drove a good race, as well as everyone else.
Well said. Good luck tomorrow. I hope it goes well there. Qatar's the next race. High speed and very, very technical on the fuel. Is that a circuit that you like?
What's the next track? Sorry, I wasn't listening.
Qatar.
Qatar. Yeah, Qatar is a good track. Yeah, I quite like it. It's strategy, like you said, like it's strategy based, which maybe sometimes isn't the most fun because you don't get much overtaken, but it's a good track. And yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time more than today. Great effort.
Thank you.
And we move on to Heisler. Heisler, battle for the top 3 all throughout the entire race until the final few laps. Are you happy with how the race went for the most part, or are you a bit disappointed with the ending?
If I can describe really short the first part of the race, it is pretty much was David against 2 Goliaths, in my opinion, since I am usually the guy who fucks up early, so they are always like already far in front. So yeah, that part I was really happy with. I kept up with Flaw. And in the end, he didn't have new softs, and I did. So I was actually thinking, okay, if I overtake him the moment like Singy pitted, I might have a little chance of winning if I catch Devin on the right moment. Mm-hmm. But sadly, the safety car came out, and that ruined literally everything for me. Yeah, these things can happen, and then I was too stupid by speeding in the pit lane. Checked it back, and it actually was speeding, so that's fucked up. Yeah, to be honest, my last race was like last week's Monday, so I had quite a break in between where I just didn't drive the game at all. I only drove it like for the past like 3 days a little bit, so I'm overall happy that how it went, how consistent I was, which I usually am not. So I want to say I hope to build further on it, but I will be gone next week again. So I can't build further on it. It's just a nice race.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you very much, and it was a great entertainment, of course, and great to see you up there. So yeah, really well done, and we could see that pace. I won't ask you about Qatar because if you're not going to be there, and I didn't quite.
Ask.
Okay. Do you like that circuit?
No. It's a horrible track. The track limits are shit. There's no strategy, like Devin might say. Like, you can't do anything with strategy since the tire wear is so high. So it's like the worst track for racing.
Fair enough. Well said. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time when we see you on track. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we move on to the final one, Nifo Jan. Nifo, it was a tough race. Looking at the beginning, it was nice and close. A bit of an issue here and there in the middle, a massive issue with some connection, but then a bit of luck at the end with the safety car brought you back into where you should have been from the start, and still good points. Are you happy with that overall?
Yeah, I think that was the maximum for today. The new seat I bought for my rig is quite difficult to get used to. I didn't have a lot of time to practice, and I really wanted to dedicate it up today, but I'm not feeling well. I was sick, so I didn't have much practice today. And with like a new setup, that's basically what you need. You need to, like, it needs to be second nature, which it wasn't today. So I already felt like if I just get points, if I just finish, I'll be happy. Obviously, when you're in the race, your expectations change, so instantly it is the turn one. I think I left enough room. I'm not sure if I didn't. I'm sorry to Tom, but I think it should have been probably a racing incident. But I'm not too sure. I have to look back at it. And then yeah, I was following really closely up until I did a Logan Sargent. Luckily, I did lift and survived to live another day. But yeah, then it just went downhill from there. I couldn't find my pace. I was really inconsistent trying to get past Igor, and then had a little contact with Devin. Again, I don't know who's at fault for that. that, but it did put me back like 2 positions because Okio got a run on me, and then from that point on, I was just trying to recover what I could. I think Nabil, he spun, and then I thought he was going to let me by, and then last moment he went back to the racing line, so I went off track again, lost another time again, and then disconnected. So that was fun. Lost loads of space, loads of places, and then luckily I got the safety car. It's been a long time since I've been really lucky, so I enjoyed that a little bit, and yeah. Yeah, just the racing from there on was fine. I tried my best to help Zingy as best as I could, or catch up and get the most points I could. So I think P4 is probably the maximum for today.
Yeah, I mean, you did a very good job, and that's 2 races in a row with some awesome points. And despite all the bad luck that you've had today, you've managed to come out on top of it. It can't beat you. Well done. And Qatar, high-speed circuit, not easy on fuel. Of course, Belgium wasn't easy on fuel for you in the weather conditions. Do you think you can get on top of that next time? And of course, on top of the rig by that time.
Hopefully with a bit of practice I can get used to it and go back to my normal self as I was last week. Qatar, I did overfuel up today, so the fuel was good, but pace-wise, Qatar is probably my absolute worst with all the high speed. It's a lot of commitment and track limits, which have not been the best in. So I'm expecting a disaster. Really, I think my good run of these 2 races has got to go into the bin. But we'll keep trying and we'll see what we can do.
Awesome, thank you very much, and get well soon. I hope it is a quick recovery. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's been it. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We'll leave the standings from the last race with you on screen as we end the stream. We'll see you tomorrow for the Japanese Grand Prix for the F1.5 EU Championship. We'll see you next weekend for the Qatar Grand Prix, which is a sprint race. Don't miss it. We'll see you there. Bye-bye.